We are doing our top 10 movies of 2014. Eli, Will, I'm going to put the annotations for their channels, and you can check them out. Disclaimer, we're going to tell you how many movies we saw this year. I'm the runt of the litter. I saw 31.
You saw 31? Oh, I saw 35.
Okay, so that's not that bad.
I saw 50. And counting! Number 10 for me is The Imitation Game, and it's just really well acted. It's basically like the Riddler movie, but it's just so much more. Very complex plots. There's a whole subplot about homosexuals, which is really interesting, especially looking at that time. I would not be surprised if Benedict Cumberbatch takes Best Actor and this takes Best Picture, because it was really well worth it.
My number 10 is a little bit surprising for probably multiple people, is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Because the reason I like this one is because I hated the first. The first it was choppy, it wasn't well written, it was written by 3 different screenwriters, so it felt like it was 3 separate movies.
Can I reply first?
Hold on. The reason it's number 10, it obviously wasn't a great movie, it wasn't by any means the best superhero movie I've ever seen. I just think it was a fun thing to go see. The cinematography shots with him in slow motion with the lightning I think were really well done. The CGI was really cool. I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and I like Emma Stone. So, yeah, I like it. I thought it was just a fun movie to go see.
I started getting worried watching the entire movie. I was like, oh, this was in the trailer. It's obvious in the trailer, but I won't say that, but you just tell everything's in the trailer, and basically in the movie it's just like, what's this happening? And when you're at the last, you see, I was like, wait, they haven't had that rhino scene, and I see the rhino running, and it's doing the shield, I'm like, oh no, I was like, this movie, it's gonna run out, I'm like, the music's swelling, and then it cuts to black, I was like, oh no, I just saw the ending of this movie on something I saw on my iPhone. That's something you should never do, never end a trailer with the ending of your movie.
I think they did show a little bit too much in the trailer. I only saw one of the...
You could predict the entire movie from the trailer.
I only saw one of the trailers.
All the big plot points, you know what happens.
So for me, I only saw one of the trailers, so it didn't make too much of a difference for me. But that being said, I just thought it was a better sequel. It was more fun, more entertaining. So that's why it's my number 10.
My number 10 is Snowpiercer with Chris Evans. I'm going to be short because these two went on so long. One thing I want to say about it is it made it very obvious what choices was being made, as in that whenever he decided to push on to go to the front of the train, they always had it so he was going right, and then whenever he was being pulled back by deaths or whatever, in that case, he went back to the left.
I noticed that.
That was very cool.
It's really just, it felt like a fun movie. It was dark and it was enjoyable.
My number 9 is what I swapped out for Nightcrawler, which is a movie called Enemy, and it was... If any of you guys know the movie Prisoners from 2013, it's the same director.
That's pretty intense. I never saw it.
And Enemy is basically this story. It's Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's watching a movie, and he notices that one of the actors looks exactly like him. He tries to call the guy up and schedule a meeting with him, and because they're identical, and because they both are in committed relationships, things are just spiral out of control. The one thing that I will say, this isn't a spoiler, but there is a certain subtlety in the movie that is there every now and then, and there's one very obvious part in the movie, but because it's so out of place, you kind of put it in the back of your memory, you don't think about it. And it was a good movie throughout. It wasn't by any means enough to make the list until the very last minute of the movie. The very ending, the last 2 shots are so surprising. If you take when you're watching this movie, take the most unexpected ending you can think of, multiply that by 100, then you've got this ending, and it adds a little bit of a jump scare, which was really cool. And it's really unpredictable. You gotta look up what it means, and it was just a really, really cool movie to watch.
Has anyone seen any of your movies so far?
No.
Spider-Man.
Oh, right. Alright.
Spidey.
Number 9 is probably one that nobody else has seen. It's called Putzel, which was one Case and I saw at the Annapolis Film Festival, which was just awesome. It was one of the funniest movies I've seen all year.
It was that awesome.
It was so good.
It was so
it's higher on my list, so yeah.
We'll bring it back over to Smartass over here. What do you have to say, Will?
Fury, which I was kind of surprised. I thought you liked Fury enough. Fury was just really well done. It was very graphic. Very graphic. I mean, there's like guys getting their tops taken, like top halves getting shot off.
Getting
but,
vaporized by tank rounds.
yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Fun. Cool.
But
I
it
didn't
was
see it.
Okay.
it was just well done. It makes you, much like a movie later on my list hinted, it makes you just not want to go to war, and just depicts some of the scariest thing you can possibly think of that a human has to do, and it's not fiction, it's real, which is just the scariest thing
The
of all.
war movies of this year really just show like the horrors of war.
Rather
And
than like, I don't know.
Like glorifying war.
Yeah. But it's a great movie, and I didn't care for the ending as much, kind of predictable, but it's just Brad Pitt's great, Logan Lerman's great.
it was Sound of Music.
Shia LaBeouf was good. Shia LaBeouf was great.
Alright, number 8 is Birdman. And I'm gonna try and keep all these short. It's just the cinematography and camera work on this movie was absolutely
Camera work,
beautiful.
very well done.
And
Yeah, I'll
Michael
win
Keaton
cinematography.
was very good, but I think Edward Norton and Emma Stone and Zach Galifianakis all had the best performances
True.
Yeah.
of that movie.
I second that.
If anything, Emma Stone should win over Michael Keaton. Like, if an actor's gonna win in this movie, it's Emma Stone.
The only part that bothered me a little bit was the end, but I'm not gonna go into it.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense. It defied all the logic in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's
saying-
like you establish a world, and at the
It's a
end you're
bit
just like,
metaphorical.
what? Number 8 is Saint Vincent, and this is probably Bill Murray at one of his finer moments, if not his finest. This is just like his defining moment, and if
Ghostbusters.
well, that's you can't talk, you can't compare these two. This is the movie I actually cried in this year. There's something that happens to Bill Murray, and it's like heartbreaking to watch him do this, and he really should have won the Golden Globe, honestly, over Michael Keaton, because he was that good. The kid in this, hilarious. The story is just, Melissa McCarthy was fine, but it's so funny, so heartwarming, sad, it's just amazing. I really liked it.
If you can't already tell, I'm more of the indie nerd, and they're kind of more blockbusters, so that's what you'll get more from my list. My number 8 is Snowpiercer. The reason I really, really liked it is because it had a solid story. It established this world that you believe, like you're into the world, and the action sequences were so
They're
good,
very
and a lot like Birdman, the cinematography was so well done. The shots with, I think my favorite shot was the night vision and the torches. With
That was
the
really
axes.
cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was very cool, yeah.
That was really, really cool, and
That
you
was
get
my
that you
favorite
get
shot.
this really cool, all these cool action sequences, and these sometimes almost nauseating. I mean, that's not gonna be used as a bad thing necessarily, but
No, I know what you mean.
there are
It's just
certain
kinda
scenes where
Yeah.
you're like mesmerized, and then towards the end, I'm not spoiling anything, but you get this sense of this isn't just an action movie. This is a dramatic movie. This
Yeah.
is a
Chris Evans gave one of his finest.
this is a movie that has a great story.
That might be Chris Evans' best.
One of the coolest things to
This was
see
the
is
best.
all of that scale of action in such a confined space. Because usually you're
Yeah.
seeing action movies about like Fury, it's tanks all across this huge field, or it's Saving Private
This
Ryan.
is in a train,
Yeah.
mind you, and there's one point where they go around a bend and they're shooting at each other from different
That was
rooms.
a little crazy, but
It
it's
was
so
awesome.
cool. One amazing thing, it's not a spoiler, but eggs. When you get to the eggs, things change. That, with the eggs, that was just amazing. That was the best part of the movie,
This
right?
is number 7. Oh wait, is it? Or
Yeah,
number 6?
yeah, 7.
Yes, 7.
It's seven.
Okay. You're up.
I'm gonna wait till this and I'll cut this. You
Fresh
understand?
nugget.
7 for me was the Skeleton Twins, and I didn't see this in theaters, and that
This is the one indie movie I didn't see this year.
It was very depressing. There were like 3 moments where it's just hilarious, but the rest, it's like you're laughing and then you like stop and you're like, oh my god. And you think about this world, and this
That's
is
why I
like
think most
how
people
like
laughing.
American Sniper, that's like, there probably won't be another sniper movie that this lives up to. This is like that, but with suicide. It's just crazy how many contemplated suicides. It's a very modern day film. Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig, Ty Burrell, amazing,
Okay. I
But-
didn't know he was in.
Casey?
very good.
Okay. So do you have Boyhood on your list?
Nope.
Do you?
Nope.
So I can talk about it. Okay. So my number 7 is Boyhood. I went to go see this in a theater in DC because it hadn't come yet to Annapolis, and it came the week after I went. It's amazing to watch this kid grow up, and it doesn't seem choppy. Like, I thought I was going to be a little bit choppy because they filmed only once a year, but it wasn't. And the only thing, it lacks a little bit of story because of this thing, because of the fact that it's 12 years long. If it hadn't been shot with the same kid, it would have lost. It would have felt.
It would not be
lost
getting
it.
nominated for
But the
all.
thing is, the reason I really liked it is because it's so true to life. You feel for these characters, and sometimes it doesn't even feel like they're acting. And there are certain points where there are these characters that come in that go up to the character, influence the character, and you're like, okay, they might be a pivotal character, and then they leave, and you never see them again. Which is cool because that's how life works. There are people that come into your life and never come back.
7, right?
Yeah.
22 Jump Street, the second funniest movie.
That was my second funniest movie too.
It was kind of spoiled for me after I saw it.
Come on.
It was spoiled for me after I saw it by the vine crap of My Name Jeff. That was one of the funniest
My
moments.
Name Jeff!
But then when I watched Schmidt did something with the captain's daughter, I died all over again. So I loved it.
One thing I like about it is it doesn't fear making fun of itself. The entire movie, it makes fun of itself. It makes fun of the previous movie. It makes fun of comedy as in general. So
A+.
Eli's up for number 6.
Yeah, alright. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was up until 1 month ago my favorite movie of the year.
And then it shot back.
Then I watched it again out of theaters, and I saw a lot of other good movies. It just it's such a cool movie, and Andy Serkis is awesome.
If that doesn't win special effects.
No, that's what I'm saying. It has to win. Interstellar was a poop fest. Let's not get into this right now. I just love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and when he goes, apes don't want war, things happen that I shouldn't say on camera.
I'll talk about it later too.
Oh yeah, it's on your list.
Because I have it on my list. But Will and I both have number 6. Ready? The Budapest of the
Grand Budapest
Hotel. Yeah. So I saw this first, so I get to talk about it first. It was one of the early movies I saw this year. I saw it earlier this year, and it stayed high on my list because I personally enjoyed Moonrise Kingdom better than this. I like that one better, but I do think Grand Budapest, the color scheme, the sets were fantastic.
And it's just like
the pink was good.
It has a pink tint, which is good.
And just the Wes Anderson symmetry.
And the symmetry's great.
That's all there.
There's so many stars, but they don't overshadow each other. Like a lot of times if you have too many, like a movie that's too overcrowded, people will start to step on each other's toes, but they didn't. Wes Anderson is really good at directing people. That's his job, but he's good at it. It was a fun movie. It was a fast movie. It was a funny movie. The only thing is, for me, sometimes violence in Wes Anderson movies can feel out of place. But it didn't lose anything. It was still really fun.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not a spoiler. The fingers, I was just like, ooh, why did you do that?
It didn't
and
take
then
anything
Moonrise
away,
Kingdom,
though.
if you haven't seen Moonrise Kingdom, like spoiler, but
see
came out in 2011. When close your ears. When they shoot the dog.
No! Why the dog?
It's not a.
That's the thing. He does it in like all of his movies.
And it's
he threw the cat out the window, and now he shot the dog.
It's like Wes Anderson, and then like
Wes.
And then like the beheaded head. It's like it wasn't even a jump scare. It was just like, why did you do that, Wes? But the one thing I did like. I liked many things about Grand Budapest. It was the perfect blend of drama and comedy. Like, it was so funny. Like, when he does this thing, it's like, oh, we're here to arrest you. He goes, oh, really? He runs away. And then, also what I really like is, like, the poor CGI. Like, it was meant to be bad with the sled chase.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, but then...
It feels like an old-timey movie.
The ending is very sad.
It's
like
a devastating ending.
But I was, like, half paying attention because I was like, this is great. And then you end it, it's like, I was like, and then it ends and you're like, wait. What?
The one thing, okay, I'm just gonna finish this off. The one thing I also really like about it is Wes Anderson can be silly. Like, he can say lines that in normal life you wouldn't say. They're just weird, but it's fun to watch, and it's just like, it makes sense.
And at one point you pass the quirkiness.
Will, stop, we're done.
It's quirky, it's good.